required to uphold. And the best way for an organisation to understand whether a person is going to fit in with those values is by assessing their past behaviour. In comes the behavioural-based interviews. A behavioural-based interview is an interview that is made up of a set of questions that will ask a candidate to talk about a specific time or a specific situation and tell the interviewer how they handled that. So how to answer a behavioural-based interview. A lot of people will fall into the trap of using one-word answers, so yes, no, oh I do that all the time, or that happens to me every day in my job. They're not ideal answers. The best way to answer a behavioural question is, there are a couple of frameworks that people like to use. My favourite one is SAIR, which is situation, action and outcome. So you'll give them the situation, you give them the action that you took, and then the outcome. So the best way to do that is to pick an experience that you've gone through in your professional life, and be specific and be authentic, because if it's authentic it will just roll off the tongue and you'll be able to tell a story. If you're trying to make things up and tell the interviewer what they want to hear, it's going to pretty much fall on its face. An example question and answer for a behavioural-based interview. So a typical one that organisations or interviewers will use will be, tell me about a time when you changed a process. So a good answer for that would be, so for example, in our job, which is recruitment, we went through a period of time where we were being audited under our quality assurance, and there was a lot of missing information in the database. When people interview a candidate or a candidate comes into Optimum, we like to get we have to get certain bits of information and put it into the database. People were missing a lot of that information, so what I decided to do, or there were a couple of us decided to do, is create a new process. So what we did was we got a template together, a form which we gave to all the consultants, which they would, a bit of a checklist, which they would check off as the candidate was in the room to make sure that they got all the information that they needed. They would then input that into the database when they finished interviewing the candidate, and once a week the corporate services team would do a bit of an audit, send around a spreadsheet to make sure that there was no outstanding information. The outcome for that was that we got better results on our quality assurance audit for that, and we were always passing our quality audits. So what I will leave you with is, as I said before, be authentic, tell a story, don't try and make things up, keep it clear, concise, and practice. And there are quite a few common questions that interviewers or HR advisors will use when they're interviewing, but if you want to know what they are, you'll